What's good, everybody? Timeless Traveler here, and welcome to my Creeper Crucible 2.0 showcase. Now, we have a lot to cover in this showcase, and there are a few different things, a few different farm designs, and of course, the rates and how the farm works. There is a lot to go over, so feel free to take a look down in the description for timestamps if you need to jump to different parts of this video. Depending on what simulation distance you're using, as well as what version of the Creeper Crucible 2.0 you're going to be using, you will get between 70 plus to about 110 stacks of gunpowder per hour. And when it comes to XP levels, you will go anywhere between 60 plus levels all the way up to about 78. This farm works similar, just like my previous Crucible, where the creepers are going to go down when this is in what we call AFK mode. They're going to go down into the Trident Killers. Water streams are going to send the gunpowder and loot. We have minecart hoppers down below that quickly grab all the loot before XP gets burned if we have the burn feature on. And if we go into charge mode, then just like the previous design, then the floors will close, the doors will open, water streams will send our creepers down into a charge creeper conversion chamber, which this time we are automatically converting them without having to do any work whatsoever, which makes it so much easier when it comes to creating our wires, because we don't have the individual sections of redstone like we did in my previous design. Now, this farm is pretty much a Frankenstein's monster because it combines elements from many different creators' concepts and designs, and we have incorporated that into the infrastructure of my previous Creeper Crucible build. So if we take a look here, this section was all done by a creator known as Alistor, and they got inspiration, heavily inspired from Navy Nexus, Rufus Atticus, and Golden Helmet. And then the Rufus Atticus part right here, this credit is going to go to him because he developed a way to transfer surface spawns down into the farm when previous creeper farms would only use cave spawns, which limits the amount of gunpowder per hour that we would be able to get. He figured out how to transfer the surface ones down as well, improving our gunpowder rates. And then our next credit goes to Silent Whisperer because he developed a automatic charged creeper farm or conversion module, and so that allows us to not have to do any manual charge creeper converting or manually sending them off into the nether. Because of his design, the creepers, when we flick the switch and go into charge mode, it will do two things. First one is it's going to flip that switch over there. It's going to use the water to send them into the chamber here. Once they get converted with the lightning detection system, it will open the way, sending them through the water stream into the nether, where we can use them for whatever type of farm we have on the other side, whether it be wither skeleton farms or a stray farm that we have gathering up in the nether. But then also it's going to, when we turn on the switch, it's going to turn this on, allowing this to activate and be able to, at regular intervals, give our witch a little zappy, and that will allow the creepers to get converted. This design of the Creeper Crucible would not be possible without all of their creators' amazing ideas and designs. So big thanks and shout out to all of you for doing your thing and then giving me the inspiration to put these all together. For those watching, there will be links to all of their videos down below. I highly recommend you check their stuff out because it was just a joy to watch the scale of the farms and how they came up with all of it. So the links to all of their videos and the tutorials will be down below in the description. Now, before we get into the rates of the gunpowder and the XP, keep in mind that, first off, this only works on any simulation distance other than 4. So 6, 8, 10, and 12. And then there is also a different version of this farm. So we have, as you can see, we have 4 towers. I'm calling it 4G, and that has depending on what simulation distance you are running, it will have varying rates. There is also the 5G, which that idea came from Alistair because they designed a farm that had 5 towers. So I figured let's try that out as well. And that also gives you, of course, increased rates depending on what simulation distance you're using. So right now we're going to go over all the rates for the 4G farm, and then we're going to switch over into the 5G world, and I will show you the rates there. So for testing the rates, I ran it on Sim 6, Sim 8, and Sim 10 for an hour, 3 times each. So 3 at Sim 6, 3 at Sim 8. You get the idea. The results were pretty much the same every time. The only like discrepancies were in because, you know, when a creeper dies, it doesn't drop the exact same amount of gunpowder every single kill. It varies between, you know, like 1 to 5. So the differences were so like, you know, small that there was no need to put down each one. So I just took the pretty much the last results from each one and plugged it in. So for Sim 6, we had 72 stacks at 76 levels if you're starting from level 0. Now, to put that into a number, we got about 4,600 gunpowder, and that translates into 2.66 shulker boxes. At simulation distance 8 for an hour, we got 101 stacks, which is much more than Sim 6, but that is still good. We have 76 levels. Levels are going to be pretty consistent all the way throughout. And that turns into 6,400 gunpowder or 3.74 shulker boxes. And at simulation distance 10, we got pretty much the exact same thing. 104 stacks at 76 levels, 6,600 gunpowder, 3.85 shulker boxes. So let's talk about what simulation distances would be the best to run. So for this farm, you don't really need to worry about Sim 8 over Sim 10 or vice versa, because the rates are pretty much exactly the same. We have 101 stacks, 104 stacks, and again, that was because, like I said before, how gunpowder will not always be the same whenever a creeper is killed. So that is what the 3 stack difference was there. Comparing between Sim 6 and Sim 8, of course, Sim 8 is noticeably better with about 39 stacks difference. That is 1.1 shulker box, one shulker box difference. That is a lot more gunpowder. So, of course, this is more preferred when it comes to rates. However, it is a little less stable depending on, you know, how strong your server or multiplayer world is. For those of us that are playing on realms, much like me, this is not yet possible because we have been nerfed back down to Sim 4. We previously for a day had simulation distance 10. So that's why I was very, very excited to kind of get this going and let people know about the possibilities on realms for gunpowder production. However, like I said, we've been nerfed back, but the developers are going to be figuring out how we can change our simulation distance. And many of us have been voicing having a slider that lets us change our sim distance whenever we load it up. Those of us that own the realm, of course. So keep that in mind. This farm may be possible for those running realms very, very soon. I'm saying hopeful because I would love to include this in my Let's Play. But those that are on realms, when it is possible, I would probably recommend starting off on Sim 6 for stability purposes. Just test things out, maybe. The farm will be built exactly the same way, so it doesn't matter. Like this will still be designed exactly as it is. You just have to slide over between Sim 6 and Sim 8. So I would say Sim 6 just to test it out. See how your world runs. Get all of your friends that are on the realm in there running their own farms, causing as much lag as possible, just as like a stability check. to see if Sim 6 works. If that is all good, then of course, go ahead and do Sim 8. And of course, you may be wondering what the rates are for charged creepers. So I saved this part for last. You're going to see here, we're going to go into activate ourselves a thunderstorm. And then we're going to go from AFK mode into charged mode. So if we take a look, oh wow, I'm sorry. Let's turn that down just a bit. So as you can see here, the switch changes, whatever's stuck in there, they're going to be stuck in there, which is fine. So as they're going along, now you're in your AFK spot, so every single farm, of course, is going to be sending the creepers in here. And then we have ourselves our little witch. And as you can see here, it does its thing. It detects the lightning, opens up the area. So we're going to wait until we have some guests. We have some guests. You're not supposed to be here. Anyway, so here they're coming along. We can see them spawning over there. We're going to take a look over at this one because we already have creepers in. So as you can see, it charges them right down there and as well as here. They're going to fall through and then they're going to go along into the Nether. When it comes to rates, now I tested this for 10 minutes at a time because letting this run for an hour would have flooded the Nether and just broke it basically because of all the lag. But so for 10-minute runs, I got about 30 creepers through. So, times that by 6, 180 charged creepers per hour, which I think it's more than you're ever gonna need. I think, to be honest, one creeper could wipe out 100 wither skeleton skulls, or wither skeletons, 100 strays. So you just send in a few at a time. You're not gonna need this to run for an hour. You only need to run whenever a thunderstorm, however long that lasts, is gonna be more than enough at a time to build up a sizable amount of charged creepers. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier is that when we go into charge mode, I didn't show the circuitry, but when we go into charge mode, it's gonna turn off this NOT gate, and that will unpower the Etho hopper clock for all 4 witch farms. I realized that this was a needed function, not just so it's just everything's easier for us, so we only have this master control panel on one side, but also because I noticed that if you don't have them powered whenever there is no thunderstorm, so let me show you right here. Whenever we don't have this, the longer we leave this unpowered and not in this current state, the witches, I noticed, glitch through. They either escape or they end up in the mine carts. So as long as we only leave this active for a short period of time, you shouldn't have to worry about that. So that was everything for the 4G design. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 5G design. And here we are over in the 5G version. So we're going to take a look at the design differences and then we're going to look at the rates. So you might be thinking, where will we put the 5th tower? Well, simply put, we're going to put the 5th tower right here. So this is right above the AFK spot. So because of this, we actually don't need to build an AFK platform compared to the 4G, where normally you would have to have like a little roof here and some slabs to avoid having to do all of that unnecessary work of building that little that 4x4 of blocks and slabs. That's a lot to deal with. So instead, we just put a whole nother tower on top, and then we have pretty much the exact same setup as we do over there, but we can't drop it straight down because that's where we're AFK. The goal is we don't want to directly collect the gunpowder and XP because this includes charging our creepers. In Alistair and Rufus Atticus's design, they have a couple different ways where it will go directly to you and then the gunpowder kind of collects right next to you. We don't do that this time because we want to send the creepers into their conversion chambers. So this is pretty much the same mechanism. We just have a much longer NOT gate going all the way down. Now this is connected to, of course, the AFK and charge mode. So when all these others turn on, this one's also going to turn on because NOT gates. And then we have the loot going down and gunpowder, as you may have just seen. It's going to go in through here and it's going to drop down all the way into one of the other water streams. As we see here, off it goes, and it's trying to follow me. Get away from me. There we go. Into the lava it goes, along with the gunpowder, of course, in the minecart hoppers. And then when we flip it over into charged mode, let's go ahead and actually do that real quick. And here we go. We have a creeper falling down. And if we take a look here, it's going to safely drop down along with all the other creepers. Perfect. And then it is ready to get charged up. Now, the rates, of course, are going to be higher when it comes to our gunpowder. Levels were a little different this time, and I'm not entirely sure why it was so different for Sim 6. That's just how it kind of turned out. But overall, it is still much higher using the 5G. We just have to, all we have to do is just not build that AFK platform and just build another tower. It's I think it's a fair trade. Much easier than building that roof. So Sim 6, we have 81 stacks. We have 68 levels starting from level 0. Right here we have 5,000, almost 200 gunpowder, which is 3 shulker boxes, everyone. That is very nice at Sim 6. Simulation distance 8, we get ourselves 112 stacks, which is about, overall, these are each about 10 to 12 stacks higher than the 4G farm. And then we have 79 levels from level 0, 7,168 gunpowder, which is about 5.3 shulker boxes. And then, of course, the last one is Sim 10, and it is 111 stacks. It's pretty much the same as Sim 8. Same amount of levels, roughly the same amount of gunpowder. Like I said, Sim 8 and Sim 10, there is really no difference. If you're already running Sim 10, then good for you. You're still going to get the same amount as Sim 8. And then, if you're trying to debate between the two, if you previously ran Sim 6, then, Sim 8 would be the next logical upgrade. And then, of course, for those on Realms, we still have to wait, but test it out on Sim 6, especially if you're doing 5G. And for those that aren't used to running Sim 6 on Realms, having to spread out your farms a little bit more. There's some adjustments that we're gonna have to get used to on Realm. But Sim 6 is a good place to start, and then if you want that extra 40 stacks of gunpowder, then you can upgrade after. As far as troubleshooting goes for both the 4G and the 5G, these are all perfectly built within their chunks. This part doesn't necessarily matter. I wanted to extend this out a little more. Just so my previous design, we did not have much space. It felt cramped, possibly because of this, possibly because it was also just a little bit smaller. It was cramped. And so we brought this out. This fills the entire chunk from 0, 0 to 15, 15. And then these are all perfectly spaced. This is within its own chunk, so we don't have any issues with the redstone there. That is within its own chunk. So when it comes to chunk aligning your redstone, everything is flawless. The issue that comes up is, so we're in this chunk, right? That's about 5 chunks away. That is another 10 chunks away. Once we get about this far away from a redstone, then it might act a little weird. So you'll see, for example, right now we are in AFK mode. And so that means, hypothetically, all 4 trident killers are active, yes? On occasion, if you go to this end of a farm and then you come back to the center, there is the rare occasion that sometimes the trident killer, as you can see, let's get a little closer. The trident killer just stops, okay? It doesn't break your farm, it just stops. It'll slow down rates from time to time. So if you use this, keep in mind, whenever you, it's always a good practice to just reset your farm. So you want to make sure that you're in your center chunk, of course, where our control panel is. And you don't want to do it fast like my previous design. We don't want to trip the observers because that's just going to break the farm. So we just want to flick it once, go into charge mode, give it a couple seconds, count to 10, count sheep, twiddle your thumbs, whatever you want to do. Just make sure a few seconds have passed. Then go ahead and flip it back to AFK mode, and then that will work. You will see if we come up all the way up here, once that water clears out, you will see that that trident killer is working. I don't know how well you can see over there. Okay, that trident killer is working. That trident killer is working. And that trident killer is working. So just a quick little troubleshooting guide. It won't break anything if, as long as you just give yourself that little reset at your control panel, you will be perfectly fine. Now, because this is creative mode, of course, I can build this at a much lower height, creating a void world, just so it is, I don't have to worry about build height. But for anyone that wants to attempt this in survival, once a tutorial is out, keep in mind that the 4G is 95 blocks tall if we are measuring from this level where the hoppers collect. We're not accounting for storage because storage is up to the builder, whatever type of storage you want to do. Storage silo, hopper lines off into some storage item stream, whatever. We're not including the height of that. So from the hoppers all the way to the top of that tower, including the block level that the buttons are placed on, is going to be 95 blocks. For those that want to go a little further and build the 5G, that is 155 blocks tall. So you either are going to want to spend days spawn proofing the ground level that you are at, somehow finding every single cave, lighting up everything, not letting anything spawn, which would be utterly exhausting. Or you can go up to up to about what's the max? Y256. If you started building at Y100, I'd say 90 just to be safe. If you are using this as the lowest part of your base, about 90 is a safe place to build from. Or right above, of course, like a cold ocean, or frozen or deep cold ocean, deep warm ocean, just to maximize the distance from any spawnable spot and the spawning spots of our creeper farm. So that pretty much sums it up. That was the build showcase for the Creeper Crucible 2.0. So thank all of you for sticking around for this video and watching the results of the Creeper Crucible 2.0. And also special thanks to those of you that have been patient with me as I've been letting you know that the Creeper Crucible has been worked on. I know some of you were asking me when we would have an updated version. So this is it. I hope that this exceeds the expectations and was worth the wait. As far as a tutorial goes, bear with me. It's going to take a bit of time simply because this was already, as I was brainstorming, this already took a good amount of time to put together, even using commands to copy and paste all of these towers. It still took a lot of big brain energy. So the tutorial will take a minute. It's gonna take a while once I start it, but it will be available for all of you some point soon. And of course, big thank you and special shout out to the creators that made this possible. Without any of their ideas, this entire farm would not have existed. So huge thank you to all of you. So first off, we have Rufus Atticus for the surface spawn transfer method via ice. Then we have Navy Nexus for the design layout using fences and scaffolding. And then from that layout, thank you goes to Alistor for figuring out how to make that even more efficient by increasing the amount of spawnable surfaces from that original layout. And then last but not least, we have Silent Whisperer for creating the Charge Creeper Chamber that allows us to automate this entire farm so much more and make everything so much easier. So again, big thank you to all of you if you are watching. For all of those that are wanting to build creeper farms and stuff, go ahead, take a look at their videos. I have added all of their links down below so you can view all of their amazing creations for yourself. So once again, be on the lookout for a tutorial, and let me know down below in the comments what you think of the designs presented here and the rates, and whether or not you you would even try to attempt to build something of this size in your survival world, because I mean this is quite the project. I don't even have the materials list. I'm quite honestly scared to get the materials list for this because it's just so massive. So just let me know down below how you think this would go in your survival world. Try to put this together, and yeah, tutorial is going to be coming out. And thank you all again so much for watching. Thank you for your time. And also thank you for supporting and watching this channel. We are growing on this channel. We are almost at 180 subscribers, which is crazy because it seems like it was just yesterday when we reached 100. So the growth is nice. The support is nice. Seeing everyone in the comments and seeing how this is helping everyone has been quite a joy to have happen. So thank you all again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.